Hello, you wonderful people. This is Justin. I'm also known as the Cinemaverick. And today I'm going to be talking about the next film in my P.T.A. Ander-Thon. And this time I have a real quick one for you because this is a 4-minute film that P.T.A. did for Saturday Night Live. He was kind of hanging around the set. At the time he was dating Fiona Apple. She was kind of the musical guest on for that week. So he was kind of hanging around the writers' room and really taking like a crash course in comedy writing, which was kind of cool, and would sort of lead into his next feature film, which I'll get to next time, which is called Punch Drunk Love. But this is called FANatic. This is based sort of a parody of the show FANatic on MTV at the time. The premise of that show was they got like a really big fan of a certain celebrity, and the fan would meet that celebrity, and it was very like you would expect. I mean, really, you see it now with MTV's reality shows or reality shows in general. It's just very, very manipulative, very exploitative, and that sort of thing. So the premise in this little short that Anderson did was he took Ben Affleck, who was like this really like kind of dorky kid, and his best friend, played by Jimmy Fallon, who comes in and wants to let Ben Affleck's character meet Anna Nicole Smith, who's been his one of his idols. And there's a whole there's a whole thing about Ben Affleck's parents divorcing and then leaving and then abandoning him, and him seeking out Anna Nicole Smith to adopt him. So it's very bizarre and weird, and it really does use a lot of the techniques that you would see in the typical MTV reality show. And I think this is kind of worth talking about because it's sort of on the surface it seems kind of disposable. It's only 4 minutes long, but I really do think it in some ways it really speaks to really encapsulates his work up to this point, P.T.A.'s work up to this point. I mean, it's all about what we've seen in so many of his movies about these people seeking a new family, of coming from sort of either a broken family situation or really a dysfunctional family situation, finding a new family from disparate elements. And so that's kind of what's going on here. And I like how Anderson is so good at really really exploiting the trappings of a specific world. And here it's all about like reality shows, and there's a way in which he cuts between past and present and future, in a way that's very definitely parodying the kind of structure of a lot of these MTV shows. And it's it's pretty funny. It's worth it kind of just to hear Ben Affleck cry really in the most tragic way imaginable. And I think Molly Shannon's very funny as Anna Nicole Smith, and she's very kind of like she's very kind of ditzy, and she keeps saying hairspace instead of airspace. I also think there's a very great use of the Goo Goo Dolls song Iris in terms of creating this faux dramatic moments. Like there's a scene where we see Ben Affleck's character shooting hoops like before he knows that he's gonna meet his his idol, and it's very funny and very and he'll actually and P.T.A. really uses that song throughout as a way of sort of manufacturing this drama. I think I also like the way in which there is this is one of the few stories we've seen from P.T.A. where even though the main character is seeking a new family situation, there's outright rejection this time, which we really haven't seen. We've seen families that have problems. We've seen, like in Boogie Nights, we saw Dirk Diggler coming to blows with Jack Horner, but eventually reconciling. But here, this is the first outright rejection we've seen. I don't know if that's going to hold true with the rest of his work when we think about it, or when I get to that point rather. But it is interesting. So that's just my little take on FANatic. So thanks for watching, and yeah, that'll be the next one, Punch Drunk Love. So I hope to see you then.